Scylla, level 1 upgrade. So today is the day I start doing upgrade videos, and you're not very familiar with all of my RCs. So for this RC, I'm just going to go over all of the upgrades I've already done. I have the RPM rear bumper, front bumper, mud flaps, and A-arms. Then for drive shafts I got MIPs, and for just the rear shocks I got power strokes, and for body mounts the RPM ones, that's what I got. And then for the tires, they are 2.2 trenchers on, I forget what rims, but they're still very nice. And for this first upgrade, I'm going to be doing RPM rod ends, because the ones that come stock, they've been on this RC for a while, and the hollow ball that rotates around them has made it really loose, and the plastic has kind of like gone away, so it's a loose joint, and I need to fix that. RPM rod ends I've gotten here, and they look very nice. So to open it up, all you have to do is pull the tab off. I'm kidding. Okay, just grab something sharp like a screwdriver and just stab it till it dies, and then rip it open like you mean it. Very nice. So we get packages, RPM stickers. I have so many of those, and these look very pretty. Actually, rather shiny, a lot more than I thought. So we could just pull all these off and then clean off the little bit. Are you freaking serious? Good for me. So then, once you pull them off, you're just gonna clean up the little area where the tab was. So I've cleaned them up, and they look pretty nice. Now we're gonna start taking the RC apart so we can put these on. The first thing you need to do is remove all 4 tires with your 4-way wrench. But with a mod I've done, I'm just going to use a drill with a bit. With the tires off, I need to remove the rear camber links. They're held in with 2 screws, one at the bottom right next to the hub carrier, and the other one is at the top of the shock tower. If you can't reach a screw, take out these 2 screws that hold in partially the rear bumper, and then you can just bring it back and reach it. Now let's move on to the front. On the front of the RC, we have camber links and turnbuckles. To remove the camber links, all we have to do is remove this screw on the caster block and another one on the shock tower. If you can't reach a screw, undo the 3 screws that hold on the front bumper and you can take it off. And to take out the turnbuckles, there's going to be one on the steering block and one on the steering bell cranks. And there's 2 things we must do before we take off the rod ends. First of all, we need to mark down the measurements for each of the lengths. And then second of all, we need to take out the hollow balls. I'll show you that later. To remove the hollow ball, squish it into a vise like so, and just push to one side. And it should pop off. If I had 2 hands right now, it would be way easier. But anyway, you get the point. With all the hollow balls removed, now we have to remove the rod ends. Now, it does use left-handed threads and right-handed threads, but you'll figure out which way to turn it to get them off. Alright, I finally got them off. It took me quite a while, but now they're done. So we're just going to do a quick comparison between the old and the new, and then we're going to install these back onto the links. The only difference I can tell in between the two is that RPM has its logo, like always, but unlike this one having a rounded one, this one is kind of more square, as you can see. When you're mounting them back on the links, you gotta know that these are not threaded, so have fun. Took me a while, but I finally have the rod ends back on. I tell you right now, I had to use the vise for every single one of these rod ends because I needed something to hold it in place while I screwed it on. So I highly advise you have a vise when you do this because it is so difficult. And to put the hollow balls back on, I'm going to use the same method as I did with the vise, and just putting them back on instead of taking them off. You should also know that all of these hollow balls are the same, except for 2 of them. These extra 2 are going to be put on each end of the turnbuckles where it attaches to the servo saver. Now we get to put these back in the RC in exactly the reverse process. Start off with the turnbuckles and the front camber links, and then the rear camber links, put the tires back on, and the bumpers, whatnot. And yeah, that's it. Years before, and years after. I can notice fairly a big difference, and honestly I don't really like the look of the blue at first, but I think I'll get used to it. my eyes will get used to it. So yeah, pretty much this is a upgrade just in my opinion, just to keep these hollow ball spaces from wearing out, and then it's going to loosen up the joints. So now that it's a nice tight space, that like they can still move around, but it's a much tighter space and it's not loose and it's not setting off any of the camber or the steering, you know, and it's going to be a lot more accurate. So anyway, I guess I'll see you in the next upgrade. And this was Scylla's Level 1 upgrade.